and I'm back with a new video, and in today's video I'm making a knockoff of a knockoff. To the surprise of no one, I do watch Rachel Maksy. I'm a big fan. I like her aesthetics, I like her video editing, her humor, it's all pretty great. With that being said, in July of 2021 she came out with this video called Recreating a Dress I Can't Afford. She made a recreation of the Narom dress by Nary, which at the time was $775. Although you can get the ethically made yellow gingham flavor right now for just a scant $178.50. Quite a far cry from the $6 she paid in a bedsheet. And as I was watching this video, I thought to myself, man, I would love to recreate that dress as well because it's totally my aesthetic that I want to start going towards. And I just wish I had creamy colored bed sheets. And then I thought to myself, you do. So maybe a couple of months ago, prior to this video coming out, I had picked up this bed sheet. It might just be fabric, I can't remember now, but I got it at Goodwill for a handful of dollars, and I liked it because it had a very retro vintage vibe to it. I'm not sure if it really is a vintage or a retro bed sheet, but I like the way it looks. So I took it home, laundered it up, and then put it away immediately because I did not have a plan for it. Which is why I forgot about it up until that very moment, and I paused that video, pulled that out, started cutting away. I made tiny little buttons for it. I made bias tape for it. I had this vision in my head that I was going to have the exact dress that Rachel Maksy made at the end of the day. And this is how it turned out. I'll tell you, it's got a bit of unfinished chic. Clearly it's not done, but the thing is, I was so discouraged by the time I got to that point that it wasn't turning out how I wanted it to, and it just felt like I had more challenges than I had achievements in that piece. So I put it in a box with all my other unfinished projects, and I slid it under the bed and promptly forgot about it for the last 2 years. What I think is the big issue with that dress not coming out the way I wanted it to is, for one, I didn't finish it, and two, I didn't have a pattern, and I'm not very good at following directions, but I do need guidelines. Otherwise, my brain kind of goes and I'm not sure what to do, and it's going to come out as something really weird in the middle as opposed to any one direction. I'm not sure if that makes sense. For example, in this dress I wanted a fitted bodice, but I also wanted a ruched in top because that is what it looks like in both the dresses. So I ended up making everything really big, and that's why it's super huge on me. And that's why it's in the bucket under the bed. But in our crafting year of 2023, I want to use all the materials I have on hand as opposed to buying more materials, which includes finishing up unloved, forgotten projects. Which leads me to one of the patterns that I had on my pattern haul recently, which is this McCalls 8177. When I saw this on sale on Etsy at Costume World Shop, link in the description below, I immediately thought of this dress and thought, now is the time to get that dress done. So I'm pulling that dress out from under the bed. Dusting off all the cat hair, and I'm going to finish it. And hopefully recreating that excitement I had when I was watching that Rachel Maksy video and imbue it with love. So, with that said, let us begin. I begin by unpicking seams and laying the skirt panels out flat. The dress pattern is made in panels as opposed to having a separate bodice and skirt. However, since my dress isn't in panels, I will be marking only from the waist measurement down. Because I am working with triangular pieces instead of the usual rectangular, I have to finagle my pattern pieces at angles to get the correct lineup with the grain. This will also lead to wildly varying panel lengths, but I'm not going to worry about matching up the hemline right now. For the pockets, I really like these huge drop-in pockets I made, but they just aren't the look that I'm going for, so I'm going to have to cut them down. Of course, I do make them as big as comically possible. This pocket piece actually has a flap joined and bound in hem tape rather than taking the time to unpick it or sacrifice size, because what's the point of a pocket if it isn't deep like the abyss? I just cut the pocket piece out, inner lining and all. Now, I don't have to give up space, and I have a secret pocket within my pocket. That's pocketception there. If you've been watching a while, you know that I like a good billowy sleeve, so why I made literal tubes in the first place is beyond me. I'll quickly remedy that by unpicking the tubies, line them on top of each other with the right sides facing, before laying my pattern piece over top to find that my sleeves are hilariously too narrow. Who could have seen that coming? But that's fine, we can widen it. We have the technology. First, I scooch the shoulder seam down just a smidge and add the skirt remnants to each side. And then bam! Next, I lay out my sleeve pattern and mark the top. Then I even up that hemline using the short sleeve pattern to do so. And there, you got yourself a bigger, albeit shorter, billowy sleeve. Finally comes the blouse. I did some off-screen adjustments, but in doing so, I realized that this fabric is quite thin and a bit sheer, so I want to add a lining to the front bodice pieces. I am, however, running very low on lining fabric, so I'm cannibalizing the lining fabric from another discarded whip project that didn't fit right. Rather than unpick the blouse from the lining, I am just going to cut through everything. Maybe I'll make a polka dot bodice someday. Who knows? What I do know is that this blouse has been in my whip pile since 2020. I haven't touched it, and I already turned the skirt portion into a finished skirt, so it won't ever be the polka dot dress that I had envisioned it to be. And that's okay. Sometimes things don't turn out as we planned. I learned new skills making the unfinished dress and then got to reuse the fabric for other projects, so I'm happy with that. I begin the sewing process by finishing the raw edges of the pocket divider. I'll sew the loose edges down and then sandwich the outer pocket on top, so when I put my hands in, I'll be able to access both sides of the inner divider easily. I serge the raw edges that will attach to the skirt panels before joining and serging the pocket edges together. For the bodice, I join all of the pieces together. Normally I stay stitch the lining to the main fabric, but this fabric isn't too slippery and I don't want to do that. I serge all of the seams and serge the front panel lining and fabric together along the button edge. After all that serging, I reward myself with a little cat intermission. Alright, back to work. I iron all the seams flat with my crappy iron that adds more wrinkles than an iron ought to. Also, I can't find my tailor's ham, so this really is a janky flattening of the seams. I finish the top edge along the front and over the arm's eye, marking my tabs so I don't lose them. I stay stitch the corner of the sleeves, then join the sides together before finishing the raw edges. I'm going to use discount double fold bias tape to create my elastic casing. I iron it out flat, making it a double wide single fold bias tape, and then sew it along the top edge, right sides together. I flip and iron it over, then top stitch the casing down. I also fold and iron the sleeve hem before top stitching along the edge, leaving a small opening for a small elastic to get shoved through. After the cuffs are elasticated, the upper band gets the same treatment with a wide elastic speared through it. I tack down both sides with a stay stitch, and then set it aside. Next, I join all the skirt panels together, careful to remember I need to add pockets to the side panels and to leave the center front unattached. Knowing myself, I always have the tendency to forget, but I double-checked myself before serging all the seams. I give it all a good iron with my bad iron. And then take a quick pause to let in a wee solicitor. It looks like she has something to ask me. After listening to her 30-minute monologue, it's time to add the pockets. I join the sides with the sides and then sew up the whole skirt, stopping right around where the pocket divider ends. Now, to pin what I have so far and try it on. Well, first off, the back is quite baggy and it's a little too low, and the sleeves fall right off when I let my shoulders drop. Less than ideal. And as for the front, there's just still so much bagginess. You might even think I didn't make any adjustments off camera like I said I did, because that's what I'm thinking. It honestly feels like it's the same oversized disappointment it was when I started, but I do see some progress. I do really like the sleeves now and the skirt fits better, so I'm not ready to give up just yet. So first we will adjust this back issue as it is the most glaring. I measure out how much the back is missing and then mark how wide the back is on my scrap fabric. Using the measurement I took, I cut 2 long strips that are about 15 centimeters wide. I join the pieces together, serge the seam, then flatten it before folding it over and serging the raw edges together. Lastly, I pin it to the back. Once that is sewn together, I top stitch the seam down so it will lay flat. I pin the sleeves in place so I can try it on again. Obviously, it's still too big, but now the height is right. So I reset the sleeves, taking in more back fabric and retrying it on until I've removed an adequate amount of loosey-goosiness. I still need some loosey-goosiness for mobility, so I'm happy with this. But now I notice that the back waistline is far below my smallest back portion, so that also needs to be addressed. I mark the ideal spot with some pins, and then I remark that spot again with barely perceptible tailor's chalk before taking it directly to the serger. This is why I don't take commissions, by the way. Fitting is so finicky when you're not good at taking measurements or following directions. Anyway, while I'm here, I serge the upper raw edge of the skirt, the sleeve edges, and serge off that extra bit on the back. Before I can attach the sleeves for realies though, I need to finish the front upper edge. I do that by using a small bit of the copious bias tape that I made last year when I thought I needed it. And the rest of it can go in the trash. For legal reasons, this is a joke. After that, I join the sleeves to the bodice and join the bodice to the skirt. Finally, the next step is to trim off all of this extra skirt length. I had originally thought that I'd keep the length in the back and have it short in the front, kind of like one of those high-low skirts. But then I remembered I don't like high-low skirts, so I opted to use a flared skirt instead. I lined up the waist seam and then marked it along the hemline. I ran it under the serger and then folded the edges over twice. And in case you've noticed, I did get a new iron. I finally told my mom what I wanted for my birthday, and she sent me money for my new iron. Yes, my birthday was months ago, but sometimes it's hard to figure out what I want. Anyhoozle, I top stitch the hem down and do all the hand finishing like the buttonholes and the buttons off camera. And I will make several tweaks here and there, such as shortening the elastic on the shoulders and raising the waistline in the front a bit more. Otherwise, it's time for the reveal. Well, there you have it, another project down, and I must say I absolutely love this dress. I think it is so cute. I love how it feels, I love how it fits, I love how it makes me feel wearing it. I think it is super cute and probably the most perfect summer springtime dress that I've ever made. Who's a love bug? Who's a lovey bug? I think this dress is very cute regardless of the cat hair on it. I feel very feminine and ladylike, like I'm ready to go running through a field of wildflowers. I feel like this is a great base layer for a whole cottagecore outfit. Like I want a very floral corset to go over top of it and then maybe get some skirt lifts so I can have my skirts lifted so I can pick wildflowers without getting my hemlines dirty. This is my last summer project, but I think I went out with a bang. As far as it looking like Maksy's dress or the dress that she did the knockoff of, I think it looks very inspired by that, but it has enough uniqueness on its own that it is definitely its own thing, especially with the secret pocket within the pocket. I kind of love these, especially with this being such a thin material. Like I can have a bunch of stuff in the interior part of the pocket without it showing through to the outside. I love this dress so much. I cannot wait to wear it all the time. And as far as fit goes, and despite having all my fit issues with this dress, I think it actually ended up coming out really nicely. There is just a slight pucker here that I might just sew down, but that's to be expected with a lot of button-ups anyway. I probably could have done a better bust adjustment to fix that, but I didn't, and I'm not going to. I'm just going to probably sew this down and call it good. As far as the fit, like I have this cinched in, but I don't think it really needs to be cinched in. It's definitely a lot looser than a lot of the dresses I've been making, and this dress is pretty much the way I want it to fit, like all my dresses to fit right now, where it has that illusion of a fitted waist, but I have a lot of room for activities right here, and I don't feel like I need to have a belt for it to look tapered in. I will wear a belt because I like belts, but I don't feel I need one for this to look nice. So now, as far as grading goes, this is definitely an A, which means I'm going out this summer with a bang because my next few projects are probably going to be F's because I bought a lot of Halloween fabric recently. So as far as grading goes, I did not buy anything new for this project. I obviously had this on hand because I had started that project last year. And the white that I used for the lining and in the pockets was also remnant material I had on hand. I believe I got this material at like a Goodwill or something for about $5. What are you doing? I have a paper drafted pattern down here and he's just wanting to eat it up. I never have any issues with him unless I am filming. It's like he waits for me to film before he starts getting into stuff. Alright, so as I said, this is my last summer project and my next projects are going to be fall related. I am so excited. I have so many plans for this fall season. I might even do a couple of bonuses. How exciting. Because I just have that many things I want to get done and things I want to share and things I just want to do all the things. With that being said, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing as I release a new video every other Sunday. Until next time, you have a good day. Bye! So I just made everything big as opposed to just making, because it's time to go. Give me 1 second. Hello, do you want to be in the video too? Yeah, you want to be in the video too? Hey. no. Honestly, if my hair would look this good naturally, I would grow it out.